All right, we're back to being live. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can get this right. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics. It's the artist known as Andrew speaking. It's Wednesday night. We're running late, but we are live. I attempted to live stream using StreamYards and whoops, have the camera be my photo booth and just use it as a separate screen, and for some reason it kept freezing up, and that's not helpful when you're trying to draw and share with people. So I went ahead and canceled the stream, deleted it, and started a new one using OBS, which I know works because I've been doing it on OBS for a while. The only problem with OBS is I don't know exactly how to invite people. I don't know how to get the chat on the screen, so I have to keep a separate screen up. Bottom line is, we're starting all over again, and now we're good to go. All right. So, going back to what the plan is for tonight, I have already done the layout and the pencils for the first 5 pages of this Hawkeye story that I'm working on. I haven't decided if it's going to be 8 pages or 10 pages yet. I'm just going to let the story dictate how many pages it is, because it honestly doesn't really matter. It's however many pages is needed to tell the story. That's the way I've always felt about it when it came to Hero and my graphic novels is if it took 5 pages to tell a story, the chapter was 5 pages. If it took 55 pages, it took 55 pages. So there's no set number of pages. When you're dealing with monthly regular comics like from Marvel or DC, there are certain page counts that they have to have. It's usually 20 to 22 pages, and so I'm not putting myself in a box. I'm not saying this is how many pages have to be done in order to tell a story. I'm letting the story dictate how many pages are drawn. So that's how this is going to go. All right, so so far I've done 5 pages, and I'm going to look really quick, share with you guys my screen, and show you the pages, the last 2 pages. And all right, so this is page 4, where Hawkeye comes to the edge of the forest, and he looks out, and there's like a steep drop. There's a river or a ravine. He's literally at, like a place where he's like, oh crap. This panel right here was supposed to be like oh no, this is like he's at the edge. I'm gonna redo this panel completely from a different angle, actually from a downward angle. I saw a reference in a comic I read recently that had a perfect view of what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to use that as reference. But it's going to have a cliff here where you'll see him and you'll see the wolves coming out of the forest. So you know where they are in association to where he is. I think storytelling wise, that panel will work better than the panel I originally drew. Which not a big deal, but we'll do it again. And then of course this is where he reaches back, trying to find his arrows, and he's of course is out of arrows. So then the next page, which is page 5, the wolves are getting up really close to him, and they're like, we finally got you. And he's like, hey guys, yeah, we went on a merry chase. And he's trying to talk his way out of the problem, which is something that he does. His character is very much a talker, so he's trying to talk his way out of it. And then the next thing he notices, there's a rope dangling right next to him, and that's going to lead into what we're going to draw today, or what we're going to set out to draw today. There's going to be it's going to be a hot air balloon is what I'm trying to say, like kind of overhead of him, and I think this is going to end up being a splash page, but I'm going to try to figure it out. Going to try to figure it out to where you see all the main elements. Where you're going to have the basket for the I just said it, hot air balloon, and there's going to be a character leaning over it, kind of waving to him. I'm going to have to get some reference for hot air balloons so I can figure out exactly how this is going to work. Um, there's some type of mechanical things in here. And then, of course, you have the balloon. I might have to move this down a little bit so you can actually see the balloon better. Actually, I have to try to figure out a way to make the angles work so that you can see it better. Be something like this. And then he's going to be looking up at it. Like, oh my gosh. And we're going to do an upward angle so that you can see his face. And of course he's surprised. Alright. Actually, he's got to be looking up, so got to figure out a way to make that work. Oh, hey, Screwing with Scammers. How's it going? Screwing with Scammers says, sorry I'm late. Busy working on a video. Hello to everybody. He says, don't forget to like the live stream. And hey, and to Manuel. Manuel says, hey, Screwing with Scammers. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. I'm enjoying your videos with the Mrs. SWS. Oh, absolutely. I actually look forward to Friday's live stream. Now that I think we're back on a regular schedule for them, so that'll be cool. We did a little improv to change of the live stream schedule, live streaming on Thursday night instead of Friday night, which is okay. You know, every now and then you got to do that. But I literally got 2 calls this evening, like one right after another, that made perfect. That'll make great videos. Okay, see, I drew the face, but he's got to be looking up. Okay, so it's hard to, well, sometimes it's hard to. All right. All right, I'm just trying to figure out how to best make this all work. I would like to... All right, I would like to find a way... Whoops. I'd like to find a way to get the wolves in this picture too. I may have to redraw the way this face is looking, because he's supposed to be looking up. Of course. This might have to move down a little bit so that you can see more of the balloon itself, the hot air balloon. And with the rope dangling down, have him reaching for it because he's going to grab it. Actually, what might be better is if he was reaching like this. All right, see, this whole head is off kilter. That's a little bit. See, because the way I have this set up, I'm trying to make this splash page so that you see all the main characters. If I could get at least maybe one wolf into this image. See, I think this needs to be further up and smaller. So because at the way I've got this drawing so far is the the balloon is actually very close to him. I want it to be further away because he's going to jump out, grab the rope, and swing out of the way of the wolves attacking, and they're going to make their escape and leave the wolves behind just howling in the darkness or howling into the night. And let's see. I'm going to have to redo this face a little bit. Let's start with the basics. I want him looking up. Actually, I could do it at another angle. You got his little nose. This is the bridge of his mouth. So he's got a little bridge. It's really hard drawing him at a different angle. He's got his long chin, his long neck. All right. His body. All right, that might work better. So how do I get the wolves into this picture as well? All right, so what I might have to do, I've drawn him a little too large for to make this work, so I'm going to have to reduce the size of him, and then I'm going to draw the wolves in the background. All right. Got his hood. There we go. Got his belt around the back. All right, just getting an idea of where, position-wise, where everything goes. All right. All right. I'll have to work on this face a little bit better because this isn't exactly... He's supposed to be looking up. So the way, if you draw an eye like this, you can imply that somebody's looking down, you know? Or if you draw their eye like this, you can imply that they're looking straight ahead. But how do you... Okay, so what I might do... Same theory, looking up. Does that make sense? All right, I'm not sure if you guys can see that very well, but that's what we're going to do. So this would be... There we go. All right, you get the idea. Bridge of his mouth. Chin. There we go. A little bit better. A little bit better. All right. All right. Actually, his ear would be more out here. Here. Okay, there we go. You know, one of the things about doing these type of sketching is you have to you do multiple attempts in order to get it. You can be as messy as you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, in black Sharpie, just fill in the parts of the drawing so far that I like. So I know where. Sometimes when you do lots and lots of lines, you forget which ones are the ones that actually work. So I like to go over them with Sharpie, saying, okay, when I have this many lines here, these are the ones that focus my eye where I want it to be. And then I gotta remember about the strap here. That's the buckle. His glove, his hand. All right. Kind of his paw. All right. Honestly, this isn't very dynamic, but that's okay. So we're going to put that aside. Now, the image of the balloon, we're going to do another. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece of paper and kind of set it up this way. And we're doing a we want it obvious that it's a big old balloon. And then I'm gonna have to get some reference photos of a hot air balloon from underneath. See how the mechanics of it all works. You know, the power, and then the person is waving out the side. And then you got the rope coming down, and as the rope gets, of course, as the rope gets closer, it's going to get larger or thicker, so make it look like it's coming down at you, kind of like Jaws, 3D, you know. All right. So it's not as dramatic as I want. I'm gonna have to, like I said, I'm gonna have to look at actual reference for a hot air balloon from underneath, like photos of hot air balloons from underneath, and then it'll give me a better idea of how this should actually look. But here's the thing, is the character that's in the hot air balloon. That's the next step in what we're going to do tonight. Because I don't know exactly what this character looks like. I don't even know what kind of animal they are. Making them a ferret, like Hawkeye, might be too easy. Make the animal of a different race, a different creature, is probably a little bit more funner. But the question is, what should the creature be? Part of me thought about a raccoon. Part of me thought about, who the heck is calling? My daughter is calling me right now. Of course she is. All right, guys, hold on just one quick second. Let me see what she. All right, I'm back. She she's resetting the Netflix account and wanted to ask if she could have the password reset to me, to my phone, which is fine. All right, let me do that real quick. Damn kids. Always doing something. All right, let me do this real quick. Confirm update. Okay. Let me text her real quick. Sorry, guys. This is what happens. All right, she said thank you, so she got it. Okay. All right, back to this. All right. So, um, I hadn't exactly decided which type of character this will be. Part of me thought might be cute. I had a design for a skunk at one point, but I never used it for anything. And I thought maybe, but to give you an idea of who the character is, um, you remember the classic Greek story about um, the guy that created the wings, the flying wings for his son, and then the son flew too close to the sun. The sun flew too close to the sun. Yeah, that was part of the story, and so this is gonna be, they're gonna be loosely based on this. The dad created the machine, the flying balloon, and the daughter is the one that's actually using it. And I forget, was it Daedalus or something? I got to double check. I'll remember it later. But I thought about making the character something flying, but then of course that would be too on the nose, like a bird. We're not going to do that. It's going to be a mammal of some kind. Uh, Maybe a squirrel. A squirrel might be good because you wouldn't think. Oh, wait a minute, a flying squirrel. Now that might be funny. Let me do a quick Google search of a squirrel. You know, just to get an idea. Just to get an idea of images. Yeah, just to get an idea of what a squirrel looks like. All right. And of course, this would be a girl. So we're gonna do like a what I normally do when I'm doing a drawing is, or when I'm creating a new character that's based on a real animal. I do a drawing of the animal first. So let's see. They've got little itty bitty noses, which works out really well for this character. Girls should have little noses. Girl characters should have little noses. All right. I don't think I actually designed, or did I design? I may have designed a character who was a squirrel at one point in my. I did a there was a year where I was doing like a sketch a day, and I kept designing new characters. Some of them may never be used, but the idea was just to get ideas for new characters. I think I did do a squirrel at some point. Let's see here. All right. And they have little short little ears like this. They have cheeks like this. All right. Okay. Actually, squirrels work out well for a girl because the way their faces are actually designed, the way their faces are actually shaped, may actually work out well for a girl. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of anamorphize this drawing and make it more like a girl. We're going to give her actual eyebrows, which I don't know if squirrels actually have eyebrows. This is the head, of course, and little ears. We'll maintain the little ears. Okay, and I like the idea of the little nose still. We're going to move it down just a little bit. Okay, bridge of the nose here. So they have a short little snout. Let's see. There we go. Eyeballs. This is very much, this right here is the pattern of the hair. And do a little hair here. Now to make it more look like a girl, just gonna have probably have a smaller chin. There we go. And then of course, we're gonna actually give them more of a realistic humanoid neck. Actually, for a girl, you would want a smaller neck. All right. And hair. My characters can actually have hair, where a chipmunk or a squirrel would not have hair like this. But what kind of hair are we going to give her? She's a little bit of an inventor, so I think she would have shorter hair. Might be a little bit crazy like that. And then I like the idea of her having like goggles. Kind of like, what's her name from the girl from Gadget from Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. There we go. Yeah. And her eyes would be black, of course. Her nose would also be black. All right. All right. So that gives me an idea of what she looks like. Based loosely, of course, on a squirrel. Let's see here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to design this. So now that I know what her face looks like, let's design her costume or her character a little bit more. So we're going to redraw just a simple face. Standard female body would look something like this in Hero's World. So we're going to make her a little bit different. We're going to make her a little bit special. Maybe make her a little bit more pudgier. Maybe. And since she is, might make her a little bit more bottom heavy, just because, hey, everybody likes a pear girl. All right. And her head is kind of shaped like this. She has big cheeks, you know. You got her hair. She's got short hair. I don't. We'll give her a somewhat ample bosom. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a kid's comic, but we can still draw our ladies with a little bit of appeal. All right, of course, then she's going to have all the characters, all the animal-like characters in Hero's World have well, you know what? Poop. I'm just going to draw it like this for now. And of course, she has a big old tail. She has a squirrel tail. Big old fluffy squirrel tail. All right. All right, now costume-wise, let's see. She's a bit of an inventor, maybe a bit of a tomboy. I could easily see her in a she'd have to have, you know, a utility belt. She wears a utility belt that's got stuff hanging off of it, of course, as all good inventors do. You know. Right. And then I'm imagining kind of like a turtleneck to protect her from whatever work she's doing, where she could cover her mouth. She's got the goggles for her eyes, and she's got the turtleneck that she can pull up to cover her mouth. That makes sense in a way. All right. And then I imagine her with maybe like some big gloves or some long gloves. Oh, that might actually work out well. Like black. You know, kind of like gloves made out of like a thicker leather to protect against the heat of whatever it is she's working on. Okay. This is not boobies. This is straps for, she's wearing like overalls. And then maybe even have it like an apron almost. All right. Okay. She's got skinny legs, and of course, like most animals in this world, big feet. All right, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So this is her character. I'm trying to remember the name of the character. I got to do some Google searching really quick. Let's see. Greek story. Flew too close to the sun. He ignored his father, Daedalus. So let me write that down. Daedalus was the father, and it was Icarus. Icarus. All right, that's right. Okay. So I think matter of fact, I think Mike had mentioned Icarus, and so her name. We can't just go straight with Icarus. That might imply too much. So what we're going to say is her name is going to be Icky. So this is her, and she is a squirrel. Actually, would she do better with a ponytail? Hmm. I wonder if that might. Yeah, that might be cuter. A ponytail. So, all right. So, and of course, she's got tools and she's got, all different types of tools that she uses for, you know, maintaining the flying aircraft. And Mike and I were talking about different ideas in which she could fuel it because I don't know, they don't have. It could be steam powered, but she doesn't have anything that would create the steam. Of course, she could use fire, but what would supply, other than just fire? And I thought about what if she had like a jar of, um, of grapes or some type of other fermented fruit that when it burns, it produces gas and keeps the ship afloat. So I'm sure we can come up with an idea for. See, if I did a stripe down the middle, that would make her into a skunk. So we're gonna keep the tail round and really fluffy. All right, so I need to work on one more thing. So if this is her body type, she's very bottom heavy. Just because. Not every single character has to be a perfect 10, you know? You can have you can have multiple, you know. Yeah, so that's the way body types are in Hero's world is the animal type leg. So it would still work out. You would still have oops. All right. All right. Big old buckle. All right. So this is Icky. This is the newest character, Icky. I may make some changes, make some play around with it a little bit more, but so far I'm happy with her. I like the idea of her being a squirrel. I like the idea of her being the daughter of an inventor, and she's very much a tinkler of things. Um, Got to come up with some ideas, but yeah, her name's gonna be Icky, and she's on an adventure, and she sees Hawkeye, and he needs some help, so she offers him some assistance, and gets him out of his sticky situation. And so here's the thing that Mike and I talked about. So Hawkeye is gonna jump on this aircraft, this balloon, and fly off with her, leaving the wolves behind. And then said I thought it would be really funny if we changed the last panel of Hero Book 1, which shows Hero and Pudge heading up the river, going on their walk, escaping the danger that they've just been in. I'm trying not to spoil it for anybody out there who hasn't read it, but it would be funny if there was a balloon further off in the background just floating out of sight. And then then you get to the end of the issue, the end of the graphic novel, and then you read this story that tells you about how Hawkeye met Ikki and went on an adventure with her, or began an adventure with her. So yeah, that's it. Pretty cool, huh? So that's how the creative mind works sometimes. Sometimes we start throwing stuff out, and you work on it until it works, until it matters, until it makes sense, and then you hopefully bring it all together and people enjoy it. So, all right, that's it for tonight. I've got to go get some reference for a hot air balloon, so I can get a better idea of the angle that we're working on, and we'll make it good. That'll probably work on that this week. So because this story has to keep going, we have to keep moving. And right now, 5 pages are laid out. Character design, I'm pretty happy with, is done. And the next step is to finish the story, penciling and laying it out, and then jumping into the ink and going crazy and inking it. And I haven't decided just yet if I'm going to just stick with the standard black and white inks, or if I'm going to throw a lot of gray tones in and grayscale. Um, we'll see. We'll see what how the mood slaps me in the face, and with it decides how we're going to do it. So sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. Sometimes you just get into it and you start doing it, and what gets thrown on the paper ends up working, and sometimes it doesn't work. But in order to make sure this thing keeps moving forward, we're going to try to make sure it works. All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody who was able to stop in. Manuel and Roger, thank you guys so much. I look forward to talking to you guys soon, which should happen Friday night. But thank you guys for joining, and more to come, because this train isn't going to stop. We have too much stuff to do, too much work to do, and this is a good time to do it. All right, everybody. Appreciate it, and we'll see y'all next time.